You know, this has been a pretty, personally, it's been a pretty awesome year, right? To meet the love of my life, to marry her in February this year, and for us to be expecting our first child in March. I think that's a pretty awesome experience. It just shows you that this job can very be all encompassing, where they can be a 24/7 job. To find time to meet someone and to forge a relationship that I think is going to last a lifetime, and also to be expecting our first child has really been that has really been the highlight of my year, to tell you the truth. When I think about what the city's done over the course of the last year, it's been a year of progress, I think. I think about the robust historic investments we made in affordable housing this year, $50 million for our affordable housing efforts over the course of the next 5 years, to attract $50 million off the sidelines from the list. That's a big deal to me. Be able to maintain our municipal equality index score at 100 for the 4 years in a row. That's a big deal. To be named the best city to live in, best place to live in the Commonwealth of Virginia by Travel and Leisure magazine, pretty big deal. And so I look at 2023, and you want every year to be as good. And so I recognize that after being in office now, this is my 7th year, I'm going into my 8th year, that there's always a lot of ups and downs. Mm-hmm. There's some peaks and valleys, and wins and losses, and you want to have more wins and losses. And we certainly have more wins and losses in 2023. I like what we did in public education investment this past year. One of the largest contributions we ever made to Richmond Public Schools. That's a big deal for me. I like our launch of the Pathways program this year, which we will provide a scholarship to any kid, no matter their RPS, no matter their GPA, no matter their socioeconomic income status. They want to pursue a 2-year degree or credential at Reynolds Community College. We will ensure that we help pay for that, and that they don't end up with debt as well, providing more opportunities as well for our young people. I also like what we've done with, I think we won the $11 million grant from the Mellon Foundation this year as well. That will allow us to tell the full story about what occurred at the Devil's Half Acre, or Lumpkin's jail site, Chaco Bottom. I think that's a big deal. The agreements we've got for the Diamond District also was a huge step in the right direction for economic development. The fact that we were able to find an agreement with those who want to build the amphitheater in downtown, also huge. And so, probably gave you one too many probably, but it shows you that we were able to bring a lot of wins to the city this year, and it's my hope that we can do the same in 2024 and run through the tape. Here's the thing, I think when you look back at the Richmond tax base over the course of the last decade, 7 of those years were under this administration. You will see a city that's growing. We're seeing economic growth, we're seeing population growth, and you see cultural growth. When I think about the economic development, I think about the tax base where it was a decade ago, about a valuation of $19 billion. Now it's at $38 billion. We're seeing essentially a 99.7% increase in the real estate tax base in the city. That means we've brought in new projects. People have chosen to live here as well. I think CoStar's announcement, we're going to have 2,000 new jobs coming to downtown Richmond. They've already broken ground. That's a huge step in the right direction. We talked about the Diamond District being anchored by a new baseball stadium for the Flying Squirrels, which will bring more housing, more affordable housing as well, more economic opportunities for folks to do business and get jobs in that area of the city as well. The city center plan is, the process is underway. We will have to choose and select a developer for that project. That will hopefully extend the growth of the city for decades to come. I'm looking forward to that. The amphitheater will bring more entertainment to downtown Richmond. That's a great thing. The project we have in Southside, or redeveloping the old the old Oak Grove Elementary School that's been abandoned for years. That's going to bring development to the south side. Our announcements on the Fall Line Trail, funding that project that will go from Ashland to Petersburg, making sure that we can at least start the process for that, is a big economic development win. So we continue to stack these victories, but what I am aware of is that there's an uneven, we're seeing uneven growth in terms of economic opportunities for those who live in South Richmond, those who live in Southside. And although we've made a lot of public investment, newly paved roads, better sidewalks, better infrastructure, more community centers, more parks in Southside, we need more job opportunities in Southside. And so that will continue to be at the top of our list as we go into 2024. And then I'm hoping whoever the next mayor will be at the top of their list as well. I would say one of the top problems we have here, just not in the city, but in the region, hell, in the whole Commonwealth and nationwide, is we have a supply problem. We have a serious supply problem. Yes, I want more affordable homes built in the city, but we need more homes in general to be built. But it's a challenging environment right now because you have salaries and wages that have really not kept up with home prices recently. You have interest rates that are starting to slip a little bit downward, but still a little bit too high. And you have the lack of supply. And so it makes for a difficult environment, I would say, for millennials, Gen Zers who are trying to purchase homes, but also for those who've lived here for a very long time as well. And so we've put $50 million into affordable housing over the course of the next 5 years, $10 million a year, $50 million coming from LISC as well. It's $100 million over the course of the next 5 years that will be spent on affordable housing alone. That's huge. We've taken steps with zoning as well, right? Because it's not just the investment that needs to be made by the public sector. You also have to make it easier for folks to actually make their investment and move some of the barriers out of the way. Zoning has been that in many, many cases. I like the fact that we've eliminated parking minimums. I like the fact that now we've opened the door to ADUs, accessory dwelling units, to be built on different properties around the city. If we can fix the supply issue, we can ensure that everyone has an opportunity to rent a home or buy a home in the city. The problem right now is if you're a police officer, you're a nurse, you're a custodian, like my father was, it's a little bit difficult to live in the city of Richmond. And I think more in terms of density and supply will help solve that problem in the long term. Yeah, I think to date, when we look at it, and we have 3 more homicides than we did last year. So it's just 3 more. But no matter what the numbers are, when a life is lost, a daughter, a son, father, brother, you name it, numbers really go out the window then, because one life lost is one life too many, in my opinion. However, I think that we have thrown the kitchen sink at this problem of gun violence in the city, and to me that's involved being tough on crime through our law enforcement, but also being smart on crime as well through our social safety net investments as well. And when I look at what we made in the investment we made a couple years ago in our police officers, making their salaries competitive with the region, it's allowed for us to begin to attract more officers back to the field of policing. We've seen a 63% increase in applications to join the Richmond Police Department. That's a big deal. Our officers are now paid a whole lot better than they've ever been before, but we got to still continue to make those investments. That allows us and we also added a new police chief as well, who I think has sort of motivated the department to move back into what I think Richmond Police Department has always been good in, that's community policing. But also we've got a number of guns off the street. The amount of violent crime in the city has gone down. A number that I think I'm going to point you to is that in 2016, when I was a candidate for mayor, we had about 1,300 violent crime incidents. Now, here in 2023, 973. That's a reduction of 26% in violent crime in the city of Richmond. Like I said, numbers matter for the media, but it's about how people feel. And there are still parts of the city that unfortunately there is a chorus of gunfire on a weekly basis. We want to continue to throw the kitchen sink at that through law enforcement, but also investing in nonprofits that are reaching our kids at the youngest ages, and so that they can choose a life of prosperity, a life that they can actually thrive versus a life of just simply surviving. And that work will continue into another year in 2024. I would challenge you on the long-standing problem. Is I think 2020 sort of was a disruptor because of the pandemic, and you've seen the price of childcare go up tremendously, not just here in the city, not just here in the Commonwealth, but across the nation as well. We have some childcare deserts in this city. Once again, back in Southside, where we have more people living under the poverty line in that area. We have made incremental progress in adding more childcare seats to the market. For instance, we use ARPA dollars, the American Rescue Plan, to add roughly 250 or more childcare slots. We use some dollars to help us open some seats through the YWCA. New Sprout School will open next year, I believe, in the Oregon Hill neighborhood. What the casino opportunity presented for us was an opportunity to make robust investments that could be essentially systemic, game-changing effects, bring about those sort of effects. Now we're going to have to go back to our incremental plan of continue to invest and work with partners, YMCA, YWCA, the partners we've worked with in the past, to add more seats. But I also caution the public to recognize the fact that we are about to enter a very challenging economic environment. I believe that we're going to likely see some sort of recession, but it'll be a softer landing than we could have expected some years ago. And I think that's a good thing, but it's going to put some limits to how we go about investing in these major priorities moving forward. Always at the top of our priority list. When I think about public safety, I think about gun violence and I think about traffic safety. We've put over $91 million into complete streets over the course of the last 7 years. We've seen more repairs in our sidewalks, more repairs in our roads, more repairs in our alley under my tenure as mayor. I'm proud of that. However, we need to do more. And that doesn't mean just keep continuing to pave more roads. We need more bike lanes. We need to fix more sidewalks. We need more crosswalks. I think about what we did this past year. We paved 199.7 miles, lane miles of road in the city of Richmond. We added 144 new speed tables in the city. I think that's probably the most we've ever done in a year. We obviously are continuing to enhance our traffic signaling, our high visibility crosswalks as well, all on our list. What I recognize is that we're not going to be able to engineer our way out of this stuff, right? We can't pave our way out of this problem. We need to continue to focus on education and also using law enforcement as well to ensure that we write more tickets and more summons and hold people accountable for speeding in this city. That's been a problem for generations because of the number of straightaways we have in this city. People in the city think they can go 60 miles per hour in a 35 or a 25, and it's unacceptable. We've lost a number of lives in this city because of people being irresponsible, simply. The driver, not the pedestrian. And so we're going to continue to focus on repairing the sidewalks, repairing the roads, adding more bike lanes, more traffic calming measures. That was a feature of my previous budget, and you likely will see more from the city in 2024. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't show you this as well. This is the City of Richmond's Paving Condition Index from 2018. Now, what will stand out to you is the amount of red that's on this map. The red indicates these roads were considered poor. I became mayor in 2017. That means The very poor or below roads were about 30.7% at the time. The satisfactory and above roads were 34.93%. Okay, fast forward to 2023. A lot more green.
68%?
Yeah. And I challenged my team that if 68% of our roads are considered good or satisfactory today, how do we get that number before I leave as mayor up to 75%? I think every department needs a challenge, needs a goal to shoot for. I'm ambitious. I'm going to reduce that poor down into the teens. It's my hope. Right now it's 22%. And here's the thing. Everybody can point to a road that they hate in the city of Richmond. There's a number in Churchill. There's a number in Southside. There's some particular ones that get on people's nerves. I still need residents to reach out to 311. We will go and we will pave those potholes. We'll fill those potholes though. But we have seen less pothole requests because we've paved more roads. I used to be the guy who would always be excited about in my early years. Oh, we paved 25,000 potholes. We filled 25,000 potholes. Yay! And then my friends, fellow mayors, was like, silly. You shouldn't be bragging about how many potholes you're filling. You should be bragging about how many roads, lane miles you're paving. And so in 2023, 199.7 lane miles of roads. That's pretty damn good. We need to do more. And white whale, white elephant.
Yeah, something like
for
that.
the season. Yeah.
I got you.
It would be, it would not be prudent that I obviously release any details about what the upcoming budget will consist of. We are having some serious conversations about projects we want to see through by the end of the year of 2024. So there's nothing I can tell you at this moment, but I'm guaranteed you guys will be paying attention to my budget speech, which will happen a little bit later this year than in previous years.
Right,
but we're going to be able to see what happens across the street. They obviously understand the economic environment we're in right now as well. You see that tax increases and tax cuts have both been presented by the governor. I don't think you'll see anything like that from us in terms of touching the tax rate and whatnot. But our ability to invest will be restricted this year because of this unsettling economic environment that we're in. And so we are not projecting the same sort of increase in revenues as we did in years past. And so we're working certainly in a more restricted environment. Any person who knows me, and they would tell you that I'm a very optimistic person, a very positive person. I don't like to surround myself with negativity, but also I believe in self-reflection as well. And what I know about city government or just government in general, you have to be in the process of improving day in, week in, month in, year in. And so when I look at 2023, something I think that we have been devoted to improving and we are still not there yet is how we go about engaging with our residents, particularly when it comes to billing as well. We have residents here who are willing to pay their bills, right? Their taxes, their fees, whatever it may be, they're willing to pay it. How do we go about making it less difficult to pay the city of Richmond? And it's been something that has been bothersome to me for a number of years. We haven't quite gotten it right. It takes the right investments in technology. It takes good personnel as well. There were a couple issues with, I think it was property taxes in the past, DPU bills as well. I think that my team has gotten together and did its best to help solve some of those problems and meet residents where they are, but we got to do better. And in 2024, that's going to be at the top of our list of how we make it a little bit easier for people to pay their taxes, people to pay their gas and utility and water bills. That's something that we're going to focus on. I respect the service of my opponent. We have different backgrounds. We come from different walks of life. We have different experiences. We've served in different types of offices. There will be choice on the ballot in 2025. What I'm going to focus on in 2024 is laying out my record as mayor. I'm going to lay out my vision for the Commonwealth as well. All at the same time, I'll be running through the tape as the mayor of the city of Richmond too. And so, yes, I'll have three major roles in 2024. Looking forward to being a father. I will be a candidate for governor, and I will finish my job as the mayor of the city. And so those are my three priorities in 2024. When I think about how we will go about winning this, I think I'm the only candidate in the race for governor who can go to any corner of the state and win votes. And I think that matters. I've found comfort in being in challenging rooms. I've been able to travel this state as a young man, every corner of the state, Southwest Virginia, Shenandoah Valley, Northern Virginia, Tidewater. I've been everywhere. I think by talking about my record, talking about my experience as a Virginian who grew up here, who experienced struggles in my early years, and I'm talking about how I want to give everyone a fair shot in this state. That's going to be the key to me, ensuring that we are in the best position possible to win this election in 2025. But once again, that election is 18 months off, I believe. And so there's a lot of work to do between now and then. This contest will develop over time. It's very, very, very early, but I'm looking forward to getting around the Commonwealth and showing people all the great things we've done in the city of Richmond and introducing myself to a number of different communities.
Awesome.
Big ticket items. For us, it's about closing out some of the projects that we started. I won't be able to see some of the projects that we've initiated come out of the ground, but to me, it's about setting up the city for success for the long term. There's a lot of here and now in local government and leading a local government, leading a city like Richmond as well. But you have to think about what the city's going to be in the next 10 years, not necessarily just in the next 1 year. And so when I think about the Diamond District and handing the baton off, we're handing a ready-made project that will build itself out over the course of the next decade, which will bring more residents to the city, more business to the city, more jobs to the city. That's a good thing. I look at selecting the next developer for the City Center project, north of Broad Street. But once again, economic opportunities for the city, more jobs, and more business for the city. I look at what we're making, the investments we're making in affordable housing as well. That can change the face of the city over the course of the next decade, right? More homes, more affordable homes for people can change the face of the city. So to me, I wouldn't say those are big ticket items. They are part of what I think the blocking and tackling in leading a city. Those are the fundamentals. You want to be able to provide good service to the residents. You want to be able to have a place where people can live, work, play, do business, and a great place to learn as well. That's been the progress we made in 2023, and my focus is on extending that beyond 2024. So whomever the next mayor is, that they receive a product that is better than the one I received in 2017. That's what this is all about. Handing the baton to the next person with a city that's in the best shape it's ever been. And when you look at what the accolades say, the best place to live in the Commonwealth of Virginia.